In the race for Texas governor, presumptive Democratic nominee Beto O'Rourke is trailing behind current Texas Governor Abbott in campaign fundraising. Here to talk more about this part of the campaign is former Texas GOP Chairman James Dickey and co-executive director of the Texas Democratic Party, Jamarr Brown. Jamarr, starting with you, realistically, how much does Beto need to raise to really be competitive in this campaign?
Well, we know that campaigns in Texas are very expensive, and so we know that we will need to raise millions of dollars, which candidates all across the state are doing at every level. And so we know that we'll need millions of dollars to be able to talk to voters about the issues that matter to them and talk to them about what Democratic leadership in this state will look like. Can
he do it? Can he raise the money?
Absolutely.
Okay, James. Is there a number out there that he and his campaign are looking for to raise to be competitive in the race?
Well, Texas is one of the most expensive places to run, both because of its size and because of the pure number of major markets. California, for example, really only has 3 major TV markets, 4, I guess, if you count the Valley, as well as Sacramento and LA and San Francisco. Texas has 4 or 5, depending on how you count them. So, but the right answer is he would need an infinite amount of money, because enough has been learned about him since his race for Senate, during the race for presidency, that he just does not fit with Texas voters. When you add that to how woken up the voters have become to the terrible policies of the Democrats, as shown by Bidenflation and tax efforts and everything else, it's an infinite amount of money.
Jamarr, talking about Beto raising this money, what are the challenges for him to raise this money, and what are the factors that he can use to his advantage to raise more money?
Sure. And I think one of the unique benefits right now of where we are in Texas is we're seeing a significant number of grassroots contributions from people across the state. These are everyday working people. So these are parents and teachers and small business owners, because we want to make sure that everyone has an opportunity to participate in our elections and our democracy and supporting the candidates of their choice. And so we're very proud of the uptick in grassroots donations that we've received, both as a party, but also candidates across the state also as well. And so we believe that connecting with people and making those calls and doing that direct outreach will allow us to raise the resources necessary.
James Dickey, you've got grassroots contributions Jamarr's talking about, also corporate contributions. What's going to be most important for Beto O'Rourke, you think?
Well, last time he ran 4 years ago, he raised almost $80 million, and most of it came from outside of Texas, or a huge percentage came from outside Texas, because they believed he had the chance to potentially beat Senator Cruz. Now, he ended up not beating Senator Cruz, and no one believes he has a chance to actually beat Abbott, certainly not anywhere near as much of a chance. Abbott has a 20-point advantage among independents right now in Texas. So with that kind of an advantage, O'Rourke's just not going to be able to raise the same kind of money, and he won't do any better than he's been doing.
Okay, well, for now he's behind in fundraising in the polls, but it's not over yet. We got to wrap it up. Jamarr, James, thank you both very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.